Good evening, everybody. Chiropractors, Rotarians, friends, and colleagues. We are very fortunate to be gathered here tonight to celebrate the life of an incredible human being, Dr. Bruce Vaughan. Bruce has done so much in his 89 years of life and has made lasting impression in the chiropractic profession here in Hong Kong, in his community, in the Rotary clubs, and in each one of us. My name is Michelle, and I am very honored here to be introducing many of our friends and colleagues tonight, to be sharing stories of our very dear Bruce, to be sharing stories of his bravery, tenacity, passion, and love for life. Bruce has always been a larger-than-life kind of guy for me, and I met him 15 years ago when he offered me a job to come and work in Hong Kong. And through all of those years working at his company, I got to know him in between patients, at lunchtime, in his books, at his home, whenever we hike the Dragon's Back. Bruce is such a special person. He was warm, he was funny, he was honest. He has a deep appreciation for nature and dogs, for anybody that's visiting him at home. He is multi-talented. He is a painter. He's a writer. He has published many books, both in the fiction as well as non-fiction category. He's written many important chiropractic books, which Leonard shared early on, and we wish to mention a bit more later on down the track as well. He is an incredible chiropractor. Not only is it through his patients' eyes, but also is through the entire chiropractic community at large, all of us here. He was willing to lead, to teach, to inspire, and he cared. He cared for our profession. He cared for every welfare that is associated with chiropractic. I admire him deeply as a mentor, and I'm very fortunate to call him a friend. And every day I'm in practice, I'm grateful for him, and I thank him because he is one of the reasons that we all have our registration today. So I'm really looking forward to know him a little bit better tonight through all of our friends and family, friends and colleagues that will share stories of him. So I would like to introduce our first friend tonight, Dr. Benjamin Yip, who is a partner of Dr. Bruce Vaughan Associates and a man that knows Bruce very dearly. Dr. Yip.
Rotary dignitaries, fellow chiropractors, and friends. I've known P.P. Bruce or Dr. Vaughan for nearly 60 years, as he was the first European ever lived in the Shackle village and was born and raised there. Because of him, I became a chiropractor in 1977, and then worked with him for 48 years. And Bruce told me that his father was a very keen golfer in the Shackle Country Club. But Bruce was not interested in golf. So while his father was having his round of golf, he went to explore Shackle at a very young age. And after his secondary school, Bruce wanted to join the Royal Air Force as a fighter pilot, but failed. Due to the slight color blindness that he's got at the time, and they turned him down. So instead, he joined the British Army and was posted here in Hong Kong. After that, he went on to become the manager of a rubber plantation in Malaysia. And then he moved on to being a cowboy, managing a cattle farm in Brazil. And because of a back injury, which was finally helped by chiropractic, Bruce then decided to become a chiropractor. After studying in Palmer College of Chiropractic in Iowa, USA, he came back to Hong Kong and set up his first clinic in Printing House, Dudley Street Central, and obviously lived in Shekel. Over the years, I've seen many distinguished dignitaries visiting Dr. Vaughan as a patient, including Sir Y.K. Pao, Bao Yuk Gong Jiaxi. Maybe some of you may not know him. Lady Kodori, two chairmen of the Hong Kong Shanghai Bank, Dr. Stanley Ho, and even Sir Jack Cater, who came to our McDonald Road clinic in the governor's car with a crown in the front and at the back, and parked outside when he was the acting governor of Hong Kong. Under the leadership of Dr. Vaughan, Hong Kong was the first city in Asia to have chiropractic legislation. Also, he was representing Asia in the World Federation of Chiropractic, and later became the president. So Dr. Bruce Sinclair Vaughan was truly world-class in the chiropractic profession. In recent years, Dr. Vaughan often held small classes for young chiropractors to share his valuable experience. Also, Dr. Vaughan was deeply dedicated member of the Rotary Club of Hong Kong, the mother of all Rotary clubs here in Hong Kong, serving with distinction for an impressive 53 years, and was elected club president for 1982-83 Rotary year. Even though Bruce is no longer with us, his fearless fighting spirit for justice, boundless love, and kindness will inspire and live on in our hearts forever. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Yip. I definitely got to know Bruce a little bit better just now. Our second friend who will share tonight about our dear Dr. Vaughan is Dr. Leonard Wong. He is the president of the Hong Kong Chiropractors Association who Dr. Vaughan founded. So, Dr. Wong.
Good evening, everybody. I am Dr. Leonard Wong, President of the Hong Kong Chiropractors Association. On behalf of HKCA, it is my honor to welcome you all to this memorial service for our beloved Dr. Bruce Sinclair Vaughan. Mentor, friend, teacher, grit, conviction. These words only begin to capture the essence of Dr. Vaughan. To me, he was above all a chiropractor's chiropractor. As I revisited Dr. Vaughan's rabid dogs in the East and spoke with those who stood beside him through the early struggles of our profession, what struck me was not how he practiced chiropractic, but how he fought for it. His mission was never confined to the walls of his clinic. It was about securing recognition for chiropractic in Hong Kong and beyond. Imagine yourself in 1967, when Dr. Vaughan, alongside Dr. Ted Ong and Dr. Jiang Junqi, founded the HKCA. Would they have envisioned that Hong Kong would one day have legislation protecting both chiropractors and the public? It seemed an impossible dream, yet here we are, standing on the shoulders of their perseverance. This reflection led me to a realization. Our chiropractor's identity extends far beyond patient care. Each of us has a duty to educate, advocate, and inspire to show the world what chiropractic can achieve. My last conversation with Dr. Vaughan was this past May, before Claudia and I attended the WFC Congress in Copenhagen. He asked me, Leonard, you're in this role for a yearish now. How do you find the weight of the presidency? I haven't seen him this serious in a long time. So knowing him as an author, I just simply replied, thank you for planting that first tree all those years ago so that we may now sit in its shade. But rest assured, we will keep planting more. As my predecessors, Dr. Edward Lee and Dr. Chan, can attest, we are merely custodians of the association that Dr. Vaughan and those early founders built. Our duty is to cultivate a stronger future for the next generations. But as Dr. Vaughan often emphasized during his WFC presidency, without unity, our profession cannot advance. Before I close, I'd like to share a reflection from Mr. Chapman Smith, the first Secretary General of the World Federation of Chiropractic. When I asked how he believed Dr. Vaughan wished to be remembered, he quoted the 17th century poet James Shirley's famous poem, Death the Leveler. It reminds us all that death is inevitable, whether rich or poor, famous or not, but that, and I quote, only the actions of the just, small, sweet, and blossom in their dust. Bruce was just, and memories of him will long continue to blossom. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Wong, for that heartfelt share, and it certainly inspires a lot for all of us to continue the work that Bruce has started. The next friend, I would like to invite Dr. Edward Lee. Dr. Lee is the past president of the Hong Kong Chiropractic Association and past chairperson of the Hong Kong Chiropractors Council. Dr. Lee.
Thank you. Well, I first met Dr. Bruce Vaughan 41 years ago, before I studied chiropractic. I was trained as a medical doctor, and then when I came back to Hong Kong, I wanted to change my profession. I wanted to become a chiropractor. At that time, there aren't that many medical doctor who wants to be a chiropractor. I mean, as a chiropractor, we hate each other, right? And anyway, so that's when I first met him 41 years ago. And when you think back 41 years, it seems to be a long time. When you go back in time, it's not that long. But if you go forward, if I'm going to see you 41 years later, that's a hell of a long time. It's very strange. Time is very strange. So anyway, I went to UK
I studied in AECC, and I came back in 1988. So when I came back, of course, I went back to see Dr. Vaughan. I asked him, where should I have my practice? So Dr. Vaughan told me, he said, Edward, you have your clinic in New Territory. I said, you must be kidding me. You know, you have your clinic in Central. You asked me to go to New Territory, huh? So at that time, I didn't say anything. I said, this guy is, you know. So I said, no way. So anyway, I had my clinic in Central. So, 88, that was 88, I put my clinic. And 89, the government, that's 36 years ago, started the consultation paper for registration of chiropractic practice in Hong Kong. And I, at that time, when I first came back, Bruce asked me to be the vice president because he knows that I'm a medical doctor, so make good use of me to fight with the medics. So actually, we did that. To cut the long story short, because if we want to go through the whole process of how we fight, I mean, Dr. Thomas Wong is with us. He was the secretary. And at that time, I remember we want to lobby with the electrical people. And then whenever we can get an appointment, all three of us, Bruce, me, and Dr. Thomas Wong, will get our patients. We march to electrical. And I remember the first electrical member who saw us, because at that time we were trying to get our title. Our title of the Chinese title, 脊骨神經科醫生嘅脊醫 doesn't come easily. You know what's the term government gave us? They gave us something like maybe 10 different titles. The final one they gave us is, I don't know how to translate this in English, is 脊骨治療學家. At first it's 脊骨治療師. So 治療師, we really complain. Then say, okay, we elevate you to become a 學家. So, and that is the final term. 脊骨治療學家, maybe you can translate it like some sort of between a therapist and a specialist of 脊骨 is the spine, 治療 to treat. Not quite a therapist, but not quite a specialist. It's sort of in between. So that's the Chinese title they gave us. And that's it. That's the bill going into electrical. If you want to change that, we have to go to lobby every legislator, electrical, every legislator, tell them what we are. So three of us went there. I can't remember who was the one we first met. So it's a guy, I think. And then he said, oh, yes, I know you guys. There's a lot of you in Hong Kong. So I said, no, not really. There's only something like 20 of us. I said, no. Yes. We see your professions all written on the walls in Yau Ma Tei and Tsim Sha Tsui. I don't know, most of the younger chiropractors wouldn't know that. Because at that time, all the Chinese tita, bone setter, they put their name, tita, yisang, or tita, whatever, that ad usually bigger than this wall. And the electrical guy thought that we are those hitalo, what we call the bone setters. We look at each other, the three of us. I said, I don't want to use that word, SH. We have to, we know we have to do a lot of things. So we went back. You know what we did. The electrical, the HKCA and its members, we worked overnight for, I think, 2 or 3 nights, We prepare a comparison chart of Hong Kong University and Chinese universities' medical curriculum and dental curriculum, comparing with two colleges in America, LACC, Los Angeles College of Chiropractic, Palmer College of Chiropractic, and the one in Canada, CMCC, and one in Australia, RMIT. All these 4 colleges, we break down the whole course from first year, second year, third year, all the way 4th year, and make a comparison with the curriculum of medicine and dentistry. And then we go to see each legislator and tell them our training, our education, and everything, and whether it is worthwhile or whether it is correct that they should call us a 治療學家, because we are fighting to be called a 醫生, which is in a doctor, you can say that, right? But of course, they won't give us a 醫生. And at that time, actually, the medical profession is trying to monopolize even the term clinic. If you are not a medical doctor, you are not allowed to use the term clinic. But that was much later, anyway. So I think that's the most, how would you say it? That's the most exciting thing that we do, Thomas, isn't it? And then, of course, there are other things. When the Department of Health decided to sue the chiropractors, and at that time, because of using the title 脊骨神經科醫生, that we are they think that we are practicing medicine and surgery, So the health department sent people up to at least 5 chiropractors clinic and collecting evidence, your letterhead, everything, and then they decided to put all the 5 to sue them, the health department. So at that time, there aren't that many members of HACA. There's only something like 20-something or 30. 40? 24, yeah, okay. So, and we know we need a lawyer, what you call it, a barrister, yeah. And then we don't have enough money. You know how expensive they are, right? So, but very luckily, we got a barrister who helped us. They say that it's 30,000 Hong Kong dollars. They will see the whole case until the end. So we are so happy at that time. 30,000 is a lot of money, but still, we can afford it. So anyway, we end up in court, and then so the lawyer asked the health department people and asked them, did you find anything that is medical in this chiropractor's clinic? We said no. Then another thing they asked, the lawyer asked the health department's people is that, is 脊骨神經科 part of the medical curriculum in Hong Kong? They said no. So is such a specialty as 脊骨神經科 in the hospital? No, there's no such specialty. So the magistrate told that there's no case to answer. And then actually the government has to pay for all the, what you call it? Yeah. So the case thrown out. Yeah. So it's all in the newspaper, right? And then we have all those cutting. To cut the long story short, we have many cases in between, that many things happen concerning how we fight for our title and everything, and how the term 脊醫 came about. Because ultimately, we can't use 脊骨神經科醫生, but we were able to, how do you say it? We were able to incorporate that term 脊骨神經科醫生 into the code of practice, but we can't get it into the ordinance. So ordinance, we were able to get the term 脊醫. So when that term 脊醫 came about, and then it was vested in LegCo, at that time there were, I think there was something like 60 legislators. 31 of them at least, half of them, more than that, was in our bills committee to look at and all the 5 doctors are there, medical doctor, all 5 of them. Of course, we know that that's, how much chance do we have? But in any case, to cut the whole long story short, that the term Jie has not been used by anybody. So even they don't allow us to use it, we can still use it because there's no such term actually exists in Chinese. You look at even in the dictionary, only now we have, right? But at that time, even they don't allow it to use it, we can still use it. So at this stage, that term become our legal title. There are a lot of these details. I won't bore you, or I can't remember that much detail anyway. So one thing for sure, if without Bruce spearheading the legislation of chiropractic and the concerted effort of the HKCA members, I think most of you will see chiropractic in a different context. Because later on, I found out that when I was the chairman of the Hong Kong Chiropractors Association, I talked with the people from the health department. They say that it's almost impossible for the government to start legislation for 24 guys. It's not possible. We are very lucky, or he doesn't know why. Because at that time, clinical psychiatrists and even Chinese medical practitioner wanted to know how did we get this thing, done by starting a legislation, because it's a very expensive exercise, And then from what I understood, it was because of a gentleman in the health department. I think he's from Australia. He is the number 2, assistant secretary of health. And when he went to Australia, it was Bruce who put him through to have contact with John Sweeney at that time, and to go to visit the chiropractic colleges in Australia. And he came back. In those days, from what I understood, is only the 2 top guys can make policy. And once the policy is being made, it will have to be carried out in the government. So the policy is that the guys say, well, you should put chiropractic in, it's part of the healthcare, everything. So that's what I understood. That's the reason why we had this started, only for 24 people, they start the legislation. And you can see that after passing the ordinance, it took us 9 years before we start our the first batch of registration. Why 9 years? Because there are not enough of us, and the government, if we have to pay for the fees, it will cost a few $1,000s for legislation. That's one thing. Secondly, if there's any, let's say there's any cases concerning malpractice, who are you going to look for as an expert witness? Among the 22 guys, 24 guys, they know each other so well. So if there's malpractice or anything, then what happened? That's all these things. That's what happened. And then after 9 years, we have a legislation. So what you see now, all of us enjoying, Bruce spearheaded the whole thing, and that's what we are looking at in Hong Kong. Hong Kong is the first, even 1 year earlier than UK, our legislation. And 1 year ahead of the Chinese medical practitioner. So, Bruce, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lee. I think that was a really incredible story to share, particularly for any younger chiropractor out there. Truly, we are standing in the shade of great men that has planted this incredible tree for us, and it is definitely our duty to carry on and grow more trees. I'd like to introduce the next friend who will share about our very dear Bruce, Dr. Vincent Lam. Dr. Lam is a partner of Dr. Bruce Vaughan Associates. He has also known Bruce for 41 years. Dr. Lam.
Thank you. I first met Bruce in the summer of 1980, before I even started chiropractic school. He had a house practice at the time in McDonald Road, and he sort of provisionally hired me at the time and said, "Come back and see me when you finish school." And I've been with him ever since. It's been 41 years. I was the on secretary for HKCA for 7 years. I saw Bruce at the time he was the president in the front line fighting for a profession amidst the persecutions from the medical profession. And I was a psychic. A typical example was the ongoing battle of words in the SCMP editorial, which lasted for months. Thomas will remember that. Bruce was a frequent visitor at the Let's Go, along with Thomas and Edward Lee, battling relentlessly against the skullduggery of the medical profession. Those are hard times, but they are memorable times. Bruce lived an extraordinary life. From being a rubber plantation manager in Malaya to a cowboy herding cattle in Brazil. He was a passionate painter, an accomplished author of many books, among other interests. Professionally, he was an authority in SOT technique, and he was busy passing on his knowledge to chiropractors who are interested to the very last days. But what I miss most about Bruce is a sense of humor. For instance, if we were in the same elevator going up to the office, he would always push in front of me when the elevator arrives at the floor, turn back and look at me and say, "You are late." Bruce worked until a couple of months before his departure, seeing patients, chairing in-house meetings, generating ideas, so on. We miss him dearly at the office, but we know that his spirit will always be with us, but I hope not literally. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lam. Bruce certainly was a very, very funny person. Thank you for your share. The next friend I'd like to introduce and invite to speak is Dr. Henry Chen. He is the past president of the Hong Kong Chiropractors Association, and he is the recipient of the Dr. Bruce Vaughan Scholarship at the Palmer College of Chiropractic. Dr. Chen.
Thank you, everybody. I don't know how to start, but I first met Dr. Bruce Vaughan and Dr. Vincent Lam was back in 1985, I believe that was the time. And how it was started is that one of my friends got a sprained ankle. And anyway, I think he visited your clinic, and that was in TST in Tsim Sha Tsui. And then I was talking to you while, actually I was talking to you, you were telling me that, hey, there is a scholarship available by Palmer College. And at the time, I was living in Canada. I was finishing my undergrad as an accountant. And, but I heard of chiropractic before when I was at school in Canada. There's a school, I didn't know the name, but I know it was also very difficult to get in. And I said, I knew my grade wasn't there anyway, so forget about it. But anyway, through the encouragement, they said, well, go and try it. And so I wrote, actually, you asked me to write an essay about chiropractic. Of course, there wasn't Google at the time. So I wasn't sure how to get information. Maybe I got it from, I don't know, from friends know about chiropractic, and I wrote the essay to you, but then you didn't reply to me. And then I kept on bugging you. And eventually, I think you said, because of your bugging, I gave you this scholarship. So anyhow, so the scholarship was given to me, but because I don't have a background in science, so I have to do pre-med. And so that was supposed to be 2 years of work, and I knew I had to do something to get this started. So I did it in 9 months. So I finished it off, and I went to Palmer. I think without Bruce, I'll never be who I am today, and I'll never be part of this family. Or no, I know anything about chiropractic, know anything health. Period. So I was going to read something I wrote very quickly, but now I thought of saying out of my head. I can only say, without Bruce, I won't be standing in front of you. Without Bruce's visions and without Bruce's idea, and not persuasions, but sort of what he see probably from me, I have no idea. He said, just go and do it. So here I am. And thank you, Bruce.
Thank you, Dr. Chen. You have also done a lot of incredible things through Bruce, through our profession, to where we are today. Thank you. The next friend I'd like to introduce, Dr. Claudian. She is the current chairman of the Hong Kong Chiropractors Council. She's the vice president of the Hong Kong Chiropractors Association. She is the past president of the Rotary Club Hong Kong City North, and she is also a previous BSV associate. Dr. Ng, thank you.
Good evening, fellow chiropractic colleagues, fellow Rotarians, and honorable guests. On behalf of the Hong Kong Chiropractors Association, I express my heartfelt gratitude to see so many of you today as we come together as a family to celebrate the life of our dear friend and colleague, Dr. Bruce Vaughan. My relationship with Bruce spans 25 years, dating back to the year 2000, when I graduated from Chiropractic College. Dr. Edward Lee, then president of the HKCA, introduced me to Dr. Vaughan, who had an opening at his clinic. I remember that time vividly. As a fresh graduate, I experienced a mix of excitement and anxiety, feeling both hopeful and overwhelmed. So upon meeting Dr. Vaughan, my first impression was of a soft-spoken, grandfatherly figure, often lightening the mood with his typical British humor. As a newly practicing chiropractor seeking guidance, he provided me with a sense of authority and security, much like a wise mentor taking me under his wing. One of my favorite memories is sharing lunch in his office. While he enjoyed his favorite ta siu fan, barbecue pork rice, I would pick his brain for clinical insights and listen to his stories about the early years of chiropractic in Hong Kong. As one of the founding members of the World Federation of Chiropractic and its newly appointed president at the time, Dr. Vaughan's insights extended beyond patient care to the status of chiropractic in other countries. So looking back, I feel incredibly fortunate to have started my career at Dr. Vaughan's clinic. It was an eye-opening experience for a new graduate, allowing me to learn firsthand about the history and development of chiropractic in Hong Kong, as well as gaining a glimpse into the profession on an international scale. Dr. Vaughan was not just a metaphorical grandfather. He was a true pioneer of our profession. He fought tirelessly for the legislation of the Chiropractors Registration Ordinance in the 1980s and 90s, which granted us legal recognition as a healthcare profession, equivalent to medical doctors and dentists. After the ordinance was implemented in 1993, Dr. Vaughan served as the first chairman of the Hong Kong Chiropractors Council until 2002, which I believe would be the longest serving chairman in the council's history. Who would have imagined that 23 years later, I would stand in the same position as chairman of the council, heading the statutory regulatory body for all registered chiropractors in Hong Kong. I can attest that the challenges our profession faces today are no less daunting than before. However, I am constantly reminded that without Dr. Vaughan and other pioneers who fought with conviction for our legislative and registration status, we would still be in the dark ages of unregulated practice, like many other countries today. The fact that Hong Kong remains the first and only region in Asia with independent legal status for chiropractors speaks volumes about the tremendous obstacles that Dr. Vaughan and his peers overcame during the 1980s and 90s, paving the way for the benefits that younger generations of chiropractors enjoy today. Dr. Vaughan's influence on me extends far beyond my career as a chiropractor. It was while working at his clinic that I first learned about Rotary with Dr. Benjamin Yip and Dr. Vincent Lam. Dr. Benjamin Yip and Dr. Vaughan himself being longtime members of the Rotary Club of Hong Kong, and Dr. Vincent Lam from the Rotary Club of Kowloon Golden Mile. The Rotary core value of service above self has resonated with me ever since. Once I was financially able and recognized the importance of teaching my children the value of service, I joined the Rotary Club of Hong Kong City North in 2014 and became president in 2022. I remain actively involved in serving my club and the district throughout the years. Today, as we gather to celebrate the life of a remarkable benefactor of the chiropractic profession and the community, a great leader and gentle soul, let us always remember Dr. Bruce Vaughan's contributions. May we honor his legacy by treating one another with respect, caring for our patients with compassion, and serving with genuine hearts. As we bid farewell, I would like to honor him one last time by paraphrasing a verse from the second book of St. Paul to Timothy. Bruce, you have fought the good fight. You have finished the race. You have kept the faith. Thank you.
Thank you, Claudia. I must say, I have to attest to your comment about your favorite memory of Bruce at the lunchroom. And he definitely still loved his Thai rice, even though I started practicing for him 10 years after you. The next friend I like to call on, Dr. Alex Pack. He is the current associate of Dr. Bruce Vaughan Associate. Dr. Pack.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the introduction, Michelle, again. And I am Dr. Alex Pack, a chiropractor who has had the privilege of working alongside Bruce. Back in my university days, I used to come back to Hong Kong every summer, and I would do roughly a month of observation at different clinics. I've went to Dr. Katharina Liam's office. I've went to Dr. Edward Lee, and I've obviously came to Dr. Bruce's office for observations. And at one point, when I decided to come back to Hong Kong, they offered me a position, and I've joined Dr. B.S. Vaughan and Associates Chiropractors in 2012. and I've been here ever since. 13 years have flown by in a blink of an eye. And I think it will be clear to you all tonight that there clearly has not been any speech rehearsing or coordination between us, between Dr. Benjamin Yip and Vincent, because you'll probably be hearing the same things again. But I'll just, I'll wing it, and I'll say what I prepared as well. But first of all, I would also like to express my heartfelt gratitude to the Hong Kong Chiropractic Association for organizing today's memorial for Dr. Bruce Vaughan with us. And a special thanks to Doctors Leonard Wong, Michelle McCulloch-Zhu, Claudia Ng, Benjamin Yip, our clinic manager, Peggy, and all those who have worked behind the scenes, whether known to me or not, for generously giving their time to make this event possible. So one of our cherished daily routines at the office, shared for more than a decade, was afternoon tea in the pantry after lunch. Sometimes everyone from the clinic was there, and other times it was just a few of us, and occasionally it was just Bruce and myself. We'd talk about everything and nothing, and through those moments, I've heard countless stories from his remarkable life. Bruce's journey was extraordinary. You may or may not have known, by now you would have known because you've listened to a few speeches about Bruce, that he once managed a rubber plantation in Malaysia. He was a magician's assistant in Malaysia for a period of time as well. He also worked as a cowboy on a cattle farm in Brazil, and before going into chiropractic school. And to pay for his chiropractic school, he actually did a lot of painting. He's a really good painter. If you ever come into our office, you'll notice that those paintings were actually done by him. And he's also done a lot of painting for prominent members in society back in the day as well. And at one point, while he was practicing chiropractic, he was also teaching art at Hong Kong U. There were many other fascinating chapters in between as well. And perhaps because of his travels, his life in Hong Kong, at least since I've joined the clinic, became quite simple. It's centered around home and work, and he rarely left that comfort zone. And when he did, it was usually for an event led by chiropractic, tied to chiropractic. To chiropractors in Hong Kong, at least from my perspective, Bruce has become somewhat of a father figure in our profession. That was due not just to his seniority and decades of contribution, but I suspect also to the whispers that I've been listening to, Santa Claus-like appearance and presence. He was a gentle and soft-spoken, yet when it came to chiropractic, you could see the fire in him, his passion and unwavering dedication. On a more personal note, I'll always remember Bruce as a grandfatherly figure. I shared with him many of my life's ups and downs. He didn't always say much, but he was always present. I knew he cared, and I felt supported in ways that words didn't always express. As I was writing this speech, I realized something difficult, something I hope I managed to do in time. I hope that I told him how I felt about him. And if I didn't say it enough, I hope he felt it anyway. In our conversations, our laughter, and our shared tea. That said, knowing Bruce, I believe he'd want today to be more of a joyful celebration. And he once said, "I can get high on water." So if you could all just enjoy the remaining drinks tonight, evening as we celebrate Bruce's life. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you, Alex. Yeah, what an incredible stories that we're all sharing about our very dear Bruce. Next, we have Dr. Brad Bira. who is the Secretary General of the World Federation of Chiropractic. He has a message on video. So,
hello, everyone. My name is Brad Byron. I'm the Secretary General of the World Federation of Chiropractic. I wanted to take a moment to recognize the life, the contributions, and the impact that Dr. Bruce Vaughan has had on many of us, on all of us, on every chiropractor. And I wanted to start by recognizing that this is a memorial, and part of that is a celebration of life. And part of this, I also want to acknowledge that it is much nicer to be in real life than it is to be in a remote space. And so I apologize for not being able to be there, but I'm there with you in spirit, and on behalf of all of us at the World Federation of Chiropractic, all of our board members, our 96 members in our 96 countries, I want to thank you for inviting me. And I want to take just this moment to acknowledge the amazing contributions of the remarkable man, Dr. Bruce Vaughan. Now, I never had the privilege of meeting Dr. Vaughan, and I'm sorry that I never did, but I do reflect on what is clearly an absolutely remarkable life. And I can't talk to that life, but what I can talk to are some of the significant milestones that are chiropractic related. I completely acknowledge the journey as to how Dr. Vaughan became a chiropractor, and, you know, further acknowledge that since 1966, when he graduated, Dr. Vaughan has been involved and worked with chiropractors and communities, and from his days when he was still at Palmer College to where he was the president of the Hong Kong Chiropractors Association, to his journey in being part of the founding group that established the World Federation of Chiropractic. And whilst our inception was in 1988, I recognize that his contributions were involved long before then, notwithstanding his presidency in 2000 to 2002. So that's a remarkable journey in and of itself, and I fully acknowledge those contributions. But I want to share this because I'm talking to you in what I call URL. I'm not in real life with you IRL, we're remote. And we live in a world now where we are truly remote and accessible to each other through the use of our technologies. What makes Dr. Vaughan's contributions significant and profound were at the time that he was working with other colleagues like John Sweeney and David Chapman Smith and many others in order to create the World Federation of Chiropractic into what it is now. That took time, and it took time in a manner that I don't think we fully understand anymore. So when we think about what that means, is in order to send a document, it would be typed on a manual typewriter without backspace, delete, and formatting. And then it would be collated, and there'd be multiple copies because it would go to multiple people. And that would be combined and sent out on mail, where the other persons would edit that in pen or pencil and mail it back. And all of those changes would be correlated. That's the kind of commitment that I acknowledge when I think about Dr. Vaughan's earliest contributions. I often joke and say, I started in private practice before Yahoo in 1994 and Google in 1998. Dr. Vaughan started in practice before email, which only came out in 1974. So the amazing feats of coordination and investment in people and investment in not only the community in which he provided care, but also to the formation of the Hong Kong Chiropractors Association and all of the struggle that went with that, to the grooming of colleagues, to the promotion of our profession, is something that I regard as uniquely significant. And so as we celebrate the remarkable life of Dr. Vaughan, I'd like us to think about it not only in the context of how we understand communication, but the kind of extraordinary effort that he made to globalize the chiropractic profession. And in talking to some colleagues and in reflecting on Dr. Vaughan's life and what the message was that I wanted to bring across, both from myself personally as a chiropractor who has deep appreciation for the complexities of doing work around the world, where my first trip to Hong Kong was in 1991. The message that I want to bring across to you is this, is how do we stand on the shoulders of this giant, this man, Dr. Vaughan, and the efforts that he's made as we move forward, as we contribute forward, as we selflessly, in many ways, invest in ourselves, invest in our continuous learning, invest in our colleagues, invest in our association, and invest in our global relations as a profession. So as we take this moment to celebrate and reflect on Dr. Vaughan's life, I want to thank you all for being there, those of you that are present physically, IRL. I want to thank all of you that are there remotely, URL. And I want to acknowledge Dr. Vaughan. I want to recognize his family. I want to recognize his community of colleagues. And I want to say thank you all very much. And reflect as you pass and think about this as your memorial continues. What were your highlights? What were your celebrated moments with Dr. Vaughan? What were your moments that he brought out for you that made the relationship so special? Now, when we say that, a lot of Dr. Vaughan's books were around chiropractic. There were other books as well. And how many of those have you read? And how many of those have you shared? And how many of those practices do you do? Because for me and for us at WFC, the celebration of a colleague's life is in the acknowledgement of how we embrace and take forward the work that they do. So I wish you well. I wish you a gentle day forward. I wish you strong, positive, and happy memories of this remarkable man. Thank you all very much.
That's a wonderful message from Dr. Brad Bira. Books. So I think this is a perfect ending. Dr. Leonard Vaughan has already mentioned that we have a few copies of The Rabbit Dog in the East, but I want to talk about this book a little bit because Dr. Vaughan has written so many incredible books, fiction, nonfiction. This is a nonfiction, but when you read it, it might as well be fiction. The amount of fight, the amount of things that's gone through. You'll see many famous names that's sitting at the front row here today. A nonfiction, indeed. I remember when I met Bruce 15 years ago when I came to Hong Kong for a job interview. So once he offered me the job, accepted the job, then I Googled his name and I found this book online. And I thought, you know, before I move to Hong Kong, it's best I buy this book. So I bought it on Amazon. And then, you know, a couple of weeks into the office, I show him the book. I bought this book. I read this book. And he's like, oh, wow, this is the non-signed copy. So let me fix that and sign it for you. So it's an incredible book. It shared, you know, many of the story that we shared tonight, which is the story of founding for chiropractic here in Hong Kong. I think it's definitely a book that every chiropractor should read to know that, you know, where we came from and where we can go from this point onwards as well. So there is 3 last copies of the signed copies, but it is also available on Amazon. So make sure you pick up a copy for tonight. And write a review. Yes, there's a really old review in there that is done by me that Leonard found. He's like, you've done a review. But also Bruce has written many other amazing chiropractic texts. Another one that I love is called The Basic Approach to SOT. It's one that we use in the office. You know, we have 1 copy. We need to get more copies because it keeps getting passed around because it is such a useful book. There's another great one. It's called Hold, which is about muscle testing. Many amazing work from our Bruce. So we are done on the planned conversation speeches about Bruce, but I invite anybody who would like to speak about Bruce or share a memory with us. I'm happy to pass the mic if you don't feel comfortable standing here as well. Is there anyone who would like to share a memory of Bruce?
I didn't know Dr. Bruce very well. I worked with Claudia for a little while in the same building, Taksim Daiha. And I remember sitting through the elevator with him one day, and I said, "Oh, Dr. Vaughan, how are you doing?" And he said, "Fine." And he looked at my hand, and I had some injury on my hand. And I told him it was from playing basketball, right? And he told me, "Well, maybe it's time that you retire this sport because of injury." And I took that to heart. And ever since then, I've kept my body whole. And I would like to thank him for, for that. Just that small gesture.
For sure.
It's always lovely to sit amongst you guys, and all I wanted to say, I'll stand up. Okay. What I actually wanted to say was that it is unusual for me to turn up to a chiropractic event and Bruce is not here. Yeah. He is in spirit, we know that, and he's here in everything that we've experienced through chiropractic over the years. When there's been fractures in the profession and disagreements and everything, it was always Bruce that pulled that together, and he was always the one that we deferred to. It was his word that we respected, and he would sit there like Jupiter, right? And everyone would just gravitate to him and catch up on the latest of what Bruce had to say about anything, because his knowledge was so deep, and his understanding of our profession, and his compassion, and his awareness of everything that was going on, that he shined a light forward for all of us. I mean, the mere fact that he was one of the founding members of the World Federation of Chiropractic, everyone that goes to those meetings benefits from what our Bruce has done for us. And, it's same as Claudia here. I met him 25 years ago, and he was the same person from the beginning to end. And I've read the Rabid Dogs in the East. Fascinating stories in there, including things that had happened in Hong Kong at the time, what was happening in the legislature at the time, and how the legislature approached things at the time. So that's all addressed in the book as well. And, I want to say, oh, sorry, I'm forgetting the Rotarians here. Just want to say I appreciate him as a person, what he's done for all of us, and may we all stay cohesive as he has made us over the years. So, and thank you, Michelle, for...
Good evening, all honored guests and fellow chiropractors. Today we are celebrating a giant of our chiropractic profession. He is our guru. And Dr. Vaughan is a good friend. I knew him since I was in high school, so back in the mid-70s, always giving me some insight about the profession. And then when I come back to Hong Kong, and at that time is about a turmoil for all of us practicing here, because we don't have any legislation. Anytime we're being raped, and at 1 year, there's 7 of us being raped. Police going to their office, and I'm one of them. And luckily, the police at that time, they called me first. And I told him, I'm not free this afternoon. So after that call, I called up to Bruce. I said, hey, I got in trouble now. And he said, no worry, we have the lawyer to back us up. And then tomorrow, because I make an appointment with the police to come in, and I wait for them into my office, but they never show up because probably they did something already. And then so at that year, we have 7 of that exercise. We try to do interview with the reporter. So at that time, we don't have typewriter. We need to write out the script. The first time we did it, and we tried to tell the reporter our side of story. But they went to the other side and rebut to us. And when they published, they took in their side as positive and ours as negative. So we learned from that. Then I start writing in Chinese, and then write the script. and handed to the reporter and told them, this is what our stand, and you need to go along with this stand, and you're welcome to ask the other side. But if we find you are not following our line, next time you are not welcome to our reporter's interview. So from that point on, our message is out, and that's why it's one of the reasons, and of course because of the government start looking at us with stirring up story. So they start talking with us. And at that time, Dr. Vincent Lam already served in HACA as secretary for 7 years. And he said, now it's time for me to step down and let me get easier. So he passed the hot torch to me. But I didn't know about this. But once I sit on it, then I gang up with Dr. Bruce, Dr. Lee, and myself, and then 3 of us, as Dr. Vaughan say in the book, say we 3 musketeers to fight for this game. And then luckily with all 21 chiropractors sitting behind of us, all act together with a powerful knowledge, and then we chip in money, time, all burning a lot of midnight oil to prepare for the interview. And then, as Dr. Lee say, whenever we found a council member is free, 3 of us went there to talk to them. And then as long as we do more about that, more council members know about it, and we start. There's at that time only 60 LASHCO members. 58 of them signed in for that committee. I think one of the largest of all in history in Hong Kong. And then finally we passed the bill in 1993. So because of the vision of Dr. Vaughan and his leadership, always have a calm mood and knowing what is going on. And then he trusts both Dr. Lee and I in Chinese, and then we always talk together. And he always spend a lot of free times. Actually, he's busy. He was busy, but he also called some of us, like Vincent, when he was still a student, asked us to go to learn from him about SOT and all the work. So he just really not selfish at all to let us learn from him, see the vision. He bring us to international vision into WFC. He invited them to have the meeting in Hong Kong. So Bruce bring us a broad vision of chiropractic. So we thank him, and he is a good fighter and fight to hear, and always his spirit is in our heart.
First of all, thank you very much for having us. My name is Donna Buckland. I am one of the past presidents of Rotary Club of Hong Kong, where P.P. Bruce, we dearly call him, is also past president of. I want to just take a moment to recognize a man of his words, man who actually stood by the integrity and also enormous sense of responsibility. I remember coming to Hong Kong about 10 years ago, back in 2015, and having joined the oldest club in all of Hong Kong, we were having a little bit of crisis moment there. And P.P. Bruce, until the very last day, he was indeed the most senior person in our club. And when the club was having leadership crisis, it was P.P. Bruce who stood up to the plate and took over for the second time, being the president of Rotary Club of Hong Kong. P.P. Bruce served as a president in 1982 and again in 2015. And today we're celebrating 95 years of Rotary Club of Hong Kong, enormously thanks to P.P. Bruce's integrity and the enormous sense of responsibility. So for that, on behalf of all of us in Rotary Club of Hong Kong, but also as a past president who's indebted to his leadership, I wanted to recognize him and also thank him for his leadership. Thank you.
Gentlemen, lovely to see you all. I'm something of an anomaly here, I think. I am not a chiropractor, nor am I a member of Rotary. So I'm really right beyond the pale, aren't I? However, I have the honor and privilege of having been a friend of Bruce since 1975 when I first came to Hong Kong. He, in fact, was one of the very first Western friends I made in Hong Kong. And there's a few other aspects of his life which I realize have not been covered, to his great credit. When I knew him in those early days, there was a young man who used to come over to his place to practice his singing and guitar, and hoped one day to become a singer. And that young man, with the encouragement of Bruce, was Leslie Cheung. So there you are. You see, a lot of you didn't know that. But Leslie always held Bruce very close to his heart and was very, very fond of him indeed for the encouragement that he had given early in his life. So I just wanted to put that out there. I'm also honored to have been a subject of Bruce's paintings. If you look at, I don't know if it's possible to look up his entire oeuvre of paintings, but my portrait is among his paintings. Ronnie can give you a copy of it online if you need it. When I was just a young 24-year-old, he painted me for an exhibition at the Hong Kong Academy of Arts. So along with people like Sir John Marden and some other very notable members of Hong Kong society. Well, no, they can't see from here. They have to in the days when I had hair and my beard was a rather more golden color than it is now. But Bruce always was a very, in every sense of the word, a very decent man. And I think all of you here will celebrate that more than anything, perhaps, about in your memories of him. And as many of you have said, very soft-spoken and incredibly discreet, too, about his achievements. A number of the chiropractors here have mentioned the battle for chiropractic. I used to visit Bruce regularly at McDonald Road, on one occasion having to wait until he dealt with Lord Maclehose as a client and before he could see me. And his battles with getting recognition for chiropractic. I just wish to give credit to another significant member of the Hong Kong community who unfortunately is no longer with us, but who fought very hard on his behalf and on behalf of chiropractic, and that was Aileen Bridgewater with her radio show, her talk-in radio show, and she really did as much as she could in terms of pushing forward the cause of chiropractic. And I also want to recognize Bruce's achievements in having the insurance industry recognize chiropractic. And so many insurance companies now will accept chiropractic treatment under their health insurance plans. And that was directly due to Bruce's efforts. So just wanted to add that additional achievement there. And to quote Sir Isaac Newton, and in Bruce's context, if we have achieved anything, it is because we stand upon the shoulders of giants. Thank you.
Thank you. You'll have to pass that photo around throughout the night now. Everybody will want to see that. I think we have one last slide to close off, which is a quote Dr. Leonard Wong mentioned earlier, only in the action will the just smell sweet and blossom in their dust. Thank you very much, everybody. We all miss Bruce very, very dearly.